Hey there guys, this is Buck from the Blue Quill Angler, and I'm going to tie a little fly today for you that's called the Purpdegon. Real, fairly simple little Purpdegon style fly. What I started you off with here is a Hansen 470 in a size 16, and I've got some little purple beads, the slotted tungsten beads, size 2.5. And for thread, I'm using a UTC 70 in red. And I'm just going to start this off by dressing the hook. The next material that I'm going to use is a Coque de Leon. It's a nice tailing fiber for these little Purpdegon flies. I've been using them a lot on a lot of regular midges and some mayfly style flies too. It's a real stiff and a little bit more durable fiber than some of the other, pheasant tails and things like that. I like to measure this out so that the tail is about a hook shank in length. I'll come in here and tie this in. Kind of tied this in starting at the front just to build up a little body on this fly. I maybe wound up a little tail a little bit long there. You don't have to worry too much about the length of the tail on this one. All right. The next material that I have that's going to create the body of this fly, this is a Vivis iridescent thread. And this the color on this one is called Black Rainbow. And I have this on a separate bobbin. What I'm going to do is just tie in the thread, the Vivis thread at the top. And I'll tie this in. And once I get this tied in, I'll just try to make some even wraps back towards the front. I'll get rid of this little tag here first. I also like to give it a little counterclockwise spin on my red thread in order to just kind of flatten out the body. Let's see, I still have a little hanger here. And I like to taper this body a little bit, so I'll build up just a little bit of a teardrop shape as I'm shaping this fly. Just making some wraps up toward the top, just to give it a little bit of a taper, a little bit of a teardrop. So what I like to do next is I'll throw a quick little half hitch in here to secure my red, and using my bobbin cradle and my rotary function, you can quickly build up your colorful little body. I like the wraps of this rainbow tinsel or rainbow thread to be touching. But you'll get a little bit of that red thread to show through underneath. All right, and here I'm just going to capture that rainbow colored Vivis. Come in here, snip that out. And what I like to do at this point is I'll build up a little hot spot behind the bead with this red. I really like the contrast between the purple bead and the red thread on here. A couple more wraps and then I'll go ahead and whip finish this. And I'll usually whip finish 2 to 3 times just to maybe build up some more thread behind the bead here for that hot spot. You'll notice there's a little bit of a ramp leading up behind the bead. I'll do one more whip finish in here. Whoops. I'll try to gather that thread toward the front, toward the bead. All right, I'm just going to come in here and trim my thread out. So the next step, what I like to do is I use some of this Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, and this is a black color. What I'm going to do with this is create a little wing case on this fly. And this particular nail polish takes a little while to dry. So what I like to do is I'll tie a bunch of these up and nail polish them And then what I'll do is I'll set them in a little dryer. I have a little foam circle, a little foam cylinder that I set them aside on to let this nail polish dry. And what I'm going to do after this is coat them with a little bit of Loon UV in the flow. And so I'm just going to do this one for you guys so you can see it. So just a little Wingcase on there with that black. Oh, there we go. And what I've done here, just for the sake of time, I have one of these flies drying on the side. So I'm going to take this one out of the vise. And I use one of these little alligator clips just to pick it up out of there. When I do this at home, I just use my fingers and try not to touch that nail polish. So right, here's a fly that I tied just a few minutes ago that I let dry. So you can see that little black dot at the top of the fly, that little Wingcase. So final step here, I've got a little bit of the UV flow from Loon. I have the really fine micro applicator on there. I'm just gonna come in here and give this a real thin coat with this UV. This is a real durable fly on its own. This is maybe just an extra step. I like it because it just makes a nice clear coat on this fly. I'll just try to get that flow really even on there, sort of concentrating that toward the little hump that we made with the Sally Hansens. All right, final step is to zap it. Just let that cure for 20-30 seconds or so, and we're done. That's my Purpdegon.